Next on Up Close, he may be the NFL's most underrated player. Three-time Pro Bowl running back Chris Warren has found success, but when will his team? Is Rick Meyers the man to lead the Seahawks back to the playoffs? What effect will the off-the-field problems have on the direction of the franchise? How are some players responding to the negative things being said about them? Are the Seahawks going or staying in Seattle? Seahawk running back Chris Warren is up close, up next.
From the ESPN studios in Los Angeles, here's Chris Meyers.
Hi, how you doing? Welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us. Hope you've had a good week. 2 seasons ago, he led the AFC in rushing. Last year, set a team record scoring 15 rushing touchdowns. The unofficial spokesman for the Seattle Seahawks. We welcome Chris Warren. Nice to have you on the program. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, what about this Seattle, Los Angeles, Seattle, Southern California move? Where would you rather play football?
First of all, I would just like for the team to have a solid decision.
So one way or the other, you want to know.
Right, but you know, I like the weather in Southern California, the opportunity to play on a grass field, and you know, just the other opportunities off the field. But you know, I've been in Seattle for 6 years, and you know, it's like a second home to me. So you know, if we stay in Seattle, that'll be fine. But it's always good to explore to see what's you know, on the other side of it.
All right, so Seattle's not bad, but Chris Warren is saying Southern California is where I want to play.
It looks good. You know, I like the weather, and I like the city. So those are two factors that make a difference.
How much is it a distraction for the team? You know, we're down here in Southern California working out for a while until they were told to go back up to Seattle. Has it affected, even though it's the off season, has it affected the mood, the mindset of some of the players yourself?
Just the questions about where we're going to play is a big concern. The players just want to know for sure, and but it hasn't changed the way we've been working out, and all the guys are coming in on time and working hard and getting their work done. So you know, we're concerned about making the playoffs. So wherever we're playing, we're going to do our best to get
so
the playoffs.
Who do you ask, Chris? Do you go to the coach, or do you try to get into the front office and say, tell us what's going on? Do you watch the TV, read the newspapers, find out what's going to happen?
Right now, it's just a big waiting game. We have to see what the courts will decide in Seattle. It's all in the court's hands now as to where we're going to be playing. So it's just a big waiting game now.
It's been a turbulent offseason, and a few months ago when Cortez Kennedy voiced his concern over the offseason workouts being out of Southern California or possibly moved to Anaheim, the front office, the president of the teams, called Cortez, quote, fat and overweight. Didn't set well with him. What's your reaction to have somebody in the front office referring to one of your teammates that way?
You know, we didn't, you know, think too much of it at first, but, you know, after second thoughts, you know, we knew that it was, you know, something that was said out of frustration by Cortez not being at the workouts, and, you know, it was nothing personal. It was just something that was said without thinking, I believe, and, you know, he's apologized, and, you know, they've mended everything that's happened. So
well, you're a friend to Cortez, but to be called fat and overweight, that sounds pretty personal to me. You're chuckling here. I know he didn't have his best year last year. In fact, an off year for him right after the outstanding season. So maybe that was some of the pressure.
You know, we joke with him also. Yeah, we call him fat also, but we wouldn't think that, you know, that anyone in the office would. But like I said earlier, it was something that was said out of frustration, I believe.
How about the owner, Ken Behring, in the position he's in, not a very popular guy right now in Seattle? Talk that maybe if the team has to stay there and he's still the owner, that there won't be the kind of support that the team needs, but that if Paul Allen were to buy the team, the owner of the Portland Trail Blazers, that would be positive if the team has to stay in Seattle. Do you see that as an issue affecting the fan base, the support that this team needs?
Just a small percentage. I believe that the city of Seattle wants a football team badly, and you know, they know that it's a possibility that they could lose their team. So I don't think it'll matter too much as to who's owning the team as much as the team winning and making the playoffs.
All right, some of the other distractions in April, Brian Blades, wide receiver, one of the team leaders, good friend of yours. He'll go on trial for manslaughter with a firearm stemming from the murder of his cousin last July, and there still are a lot of questions surrounding this issue, but how did it affect the team and your relationship with Brian?
It brought the team closer. You know, Brian's the type of player and person that he's, you know, stays to himself a lot, and he's hard to reach and to talk to. But, you know, that situation brought the team closer to him, and, you know, just brought the relationship better between teammates and as far as the whole Seahawks organization. So, you know, we just had to be there to support him and just to let him know that, you know, things would work out, and if he needed anything, we could be there for him.
Yeah, what do you say? What do you talk to Brian about in that situation?
We just, you know, try to keep him positive, you know, think positive, just going with our lives, with what we're doing. You know, we have the team get-togethers Mondays, Fridays, you know, at certain players' houses, and just do normal stuff.
So try to keep him involved. Did you see him kind of rebelling people at the time, becoming more of a recluse when this went on, staying more to himself?
Well, he was just more careful with who he was around, who he surrounded himself around. He always had, you know, one of his teammates with him or his family members. So it was, you know, he just wanted people with him that he felt comfortable with.
He maintains that in the accident that the shooting incident was an accident, but there were two shots that were fired. Being a friend of his and being supportive, is there doubt in your mind about guilt or innocence, and have you approached him about that?
There's no doubt about his innocence. I believe him 100%, and you know, it's not going to change my friendship towards him, as you know, because of what happened. You know, he's a person first of all, and you know, he has feelings, and you know, I'm sure he didn't intentionally kill his cousin, because they're, you know, so close, and you know, their relationship, they're like brothers. So I don't believe at all he was guilty of that.
And the Seahawks have worked out a new 3-year contract for Brian Blades. What does that tell you about the organization, what they think of him?
It says that they have, you know, faith in Brian as a player, and you know, also as a person, and you know, because he does stuff off the field that people don't hear about, as far as you know, the Thanksgiving, he purchases turkeys, he does charities for the homeless, you know, Christmas gifts for kids. So he does a lot for the organization as well as the city. So you know, the 3-year deal is also an extension of how you know, the Seahawks feel about him as a player.
We're talking with Chris Warren of the Seattle Seahawks. The trying times will continue to discuss. In fact, Chris was involved in a traumatic car accident that left one of his teammates partially paralyzed. We'll address that issue when we come back, and the difficulties that Dennis Erickson had when he first arrived in Seattle. We're up close in Los Angeles. Don't go away.
McDonald's invites you to play the Disney Video Masterpiece Collection Trivia Challenge. The biggest trivia game ever at McDonald's. Pick the right answer to questions about Disney Masterpiece Collection videos and win every time. Over 300 million prizes. Win a cool $1 million. Hot McDonald's food. Disney videos. Come play today. It's gonna be magic.
Protect your engine. Remember, pure oil now, pure oil later. Pure oil later.
Investing your money. What's your strategy? You do have a strategy. Please don't say you just put a little here and a little there. Random investing is a sure way to keep your gains to a minimum. Get some information about Janus no-load mutual funds. Start an investment program that makes sense. And stick with it. Stop throwing your money around. Start to think big. Janus Funds.
Introducing the VersaPack cordless rubber and broom with interchangeable batteries from Black & Decker. Because there's nothing more rewarding than a job well done.
In December of 1994 on a rainy, cold night. He was involved in a car accident with teammates Lamar Smith and Mike Fryer. He had a telephone pole that knocked out 30% of the electricity in the city of Kirkland. We are with Chris Warren, the Seattle running back who was involved in that incident. If you can, take us back through what that night was like and that experience that you went through.
It's kind of cloudy because of, the injuries. I was unconscious, and but I can just remember, it being a rainy, cold night, and it was a median strip, and it was, poor lighting, so made for, I guess, difficult driving. So it was, we ran into the median strip. And
you were not driving?
No, I was not driving, and we careened off the median strip and hit the pole, and from then on it was just real cloudy as to what happened after that.
You were left unconscious or partially unconscious, so you don't remember that was it. And then when you woke up, where were you?
I woke up, and there was just you see the ambulances and police cars, and it seemed like the instant we hit the pole that the police cars and then ambulances were there, so I guess there was a time I was unconscious. So
what was your first thought?
First thought was just to get out of the car, and then worried about my injuries after that.
You suffered cracked ribs. Did you think you were more seriously hurt?
I didn't think I was hurt at all because I'd been knocked unconscious, but I also had a broken nose, and my nose was bleeding. I thought that was the only thing that was the matter with me.
Teammate Mike Fryer was left paralyzed. Did you know then what condition your teammates were in?
No, I had no idea until we were taken to the hospital, and that's, I found out then. So it was, very unclear during that time as to what happened, but, I was informed of everything once I got into the hospital.
And Lamar Smith, reportedly, he had been drinking. Was he?
Well, we were out, we had a team outing, get together, and there was, beer, drinking, and also, just a normal night as far as guys getting together, shooting pool, and, just hanging out. So it was nothing out of the ordinary.
If he had been drinking, which we assume that he had, or you all had been drinking, should he have been driving? Was that ever discussed, that issue of getting behind the wheel of a car? I had no concern with him being drunk. If so, I wouldn't have ridden with him. So that wasn't a concern of mine. Well, the police asked who was driving. Some of the eyewitnesses were pointing at you. Why was that?
I guess I was the only face that they recognized, and for some reason I don't know, but I was in the passenger seat, unconscious, so I don't see why I was labeled as being the driver.
And you didn't have much to say after that. Obviously, there were a lot of questions people wanted to know about, but you surprised people by playing in the next game, which was 3 days later with the cracked ribs against the Colts. Why was it important for you to play in that game?
It was important to me because, first of all, was, I had a job to do, and, I didn't want to let the teammates down. And, more importantly, I wanted to play because of, what had happened and, the condition of Mike. And, I wanted to let him know that, I would go out while I'm injured and play for him because he was still a part of the team.
Does it scare you to see what happened to Mike Fryer being paralyzed? Do you think that could have been me?
Right. I think about that every day. Every time I see a handicapped person or someone in a wheelchair, I think about, it could be me. It could have easily been me. And, I thank the Lord and that it, things turned out that no one was killed. And so it's a scary thought, and it's a thought that enters my mind a lot.
How is Mike these days?
Well, Mike, he's doing well as far as accepting what's happened to him. And,
how has he told you how is he dealing with that?
Well, he's, of course he has his ups and downs, but, the team purchased a van for him, which has, the amenities of, he can drive it and he can, move around in it. It's designed for him, so it's, you know, he expressed that he was doing well, and he's, you know, going to continue to battle with what's going on with him.
And then 4 months later, in April, Dennis Erickson, the head coach of the team, was charged with a DUI 2 months into his new job. When you first heard this, what was your reaction?
First reaction, I was, you know, I was surprised at it. And, you know, first of all, to see a coach to have something like that happen to him. And, but, you know, soon after that, we had a team meeting, and, you know, he came in and expressed to us that, you know, he had been drinking, and that he had a DUI, and that he apologized to us. And, you know, he was straightforward, and, you know, that kind of, you know, got the team to believe in him because of how honest he was with us.
Yeah, was it important that and he did it quickly? It was an immediate decision for him to call the team together and to be up front with the team. Was that important for you, that he didn't waste any time and let things linger?
Right, it was important. You know, most players want to trust their coach, and they want the coach to be straightforward with them. And if he can come to us with a problem like that happened with him, he can be straightforward with us about anything that happens on the field as far as playing time or what a player's chances might be in making the team. So by him doing that, he gained a lot of trust in the team.
Yeah, and Erickson has undergone the counseling probation. He's agreed to that and has been clean since that time. Has he changed as a person? Do you sense a difference?
Well, I mean, I didn't really know him before, but from what I can see, he's still the same. I mean, he still has the same sense of humor. He's, you know, still loves his players, and, you know, he treats his players like they're part of his family. So he's been the same in that sense.
So some of these things that we've gone through, these incidents, auto accidents with Brian Blades, is it something in Seattle? Is it this team? Why do you think these kinds of, this series of events have taken place here?
I'm not sure. You know, we've, you know, had a string of bad luck, and, you know, it's time to change it. But, you know, when you're losing, you're not winning, and you don't make the playoffs for several years, you know, you tend to get negative press, and the negative press tends to be intensified. So,
and maybe does the losing create a little bit of a negative atmosphere amongst players?
Yeah, it's hard to change the losing atmosphere and the negative thoughts, but you know, with Coach Erickson coming in, we've started to change that.
All right, we're talking with Chris Warren, and we'll continue to talk about the Seahawks, and we'll talk about what he's done, the three-time Pro Bowler, and he certainly is one who has done some positive things for Seattle. Why is he the most underrated player in the league? We'll ask him that when we come back.
Music Express, voted #1 by the National Limousine Association, has offices in Los Angeles and on the East Coast. Music Express can handle your corporate needs anywhere in the U.S. and worldwide. And guests of Up Close stay at the Beverly Prescott, L.A.'s premier boutique hotel. Call your travel agent to make reservations at the Beverly Prescott, a Kimpton hotel.
A lot simpler. You pick for your idea in your own. I've got personal is now available in New Jersey and Delaware. Personal choice for help. Doctor. No need to see a specialist. And office visits are as low as $5.
Resistance. It's no wonder CardioGlide was rated best in giving you a real workout. Call now.
The Mets finished up strong last year. In '96, they could be the team to watch in the NL East. This week, they'll tangle with Dante Bichette and the Rockies. The Mets take on the Rockies. The Sunday game of the week. Sunday night at 8 on ESPN.
Coming up at 6:30 Eastern, can anyone catch the shark in day 2 of the Masters? The latest on Kirby Puckett, will he ever see straight? And our cover story focuses on the best team in hockey, the Wings and Things, ahead on SportsCenter right after Up Close.
Welcome back. We're talking up close with Chris Warren of the Seattle Seahawks. 6 years in the league, and despite 4 consecutive seasons of 1,000-yard rushing or more, generally regarded and probably the league's most underrated player, or at least in that category. When you hear that, how does that make you feel? Does that bother you?
It doesn't bother me, but, you know, I've worked hard to get in the position that I am in now, and, you know, a lot of people don't really accept me as being...
You don't get recognized a lot.
One of the top backs. You know, I don't get much recognition. I don't get recognized around...
Except in car accidents, right, where they come pointing.
Yeah, but, you know, it doesn't bother me because, you know, I know that for myself, that I'm just as good as the rest of the guys that are in my position.
Yeah, where do you place yourself among the backs today? Are you up there with Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders?
I would say I'm in the top 3.
That's a pretty good group. How about in Seattle, popularity? Talk about getting recognized. That looks like it's Ken Griffey's town when you're talking sports, right? Is that how I mean, they're the guys that run for president, it looks like. Tell me about the ranking there in terms of popularity among sports fans.
Well, there's Ken Griffey and the Mariners, and Sean Kemp, Gary Payton and the Sonics, and then there's the Seahawks. So
third.
We're third on the list.
And how do you change that?
I think we'll change it by, you know, going to the playoffs, you know, winning more games. And, you know, Seattle's a football town, and, you know, if we can win more games, I think they'll definitely, the order will change.
Right, if you stay in Seattle, right, which we still don't know. Now, in '94, you lead the AFC in rushing, yet you're not voted to start in the Pro Bowl. Something like that would indicate that not even players in your own league maybe aren't aware of your talent. That was the first time that happened since 1984. Why do you think you don't get the attention or the publicity?
You know, Seattle's not a big media town as far as sports goes. You know, the big Microsoft capital. So.
Right, but Griffey gets, right, he's become a national figure.
Presidency, so.
Maybe you should run for vice president.
Vice president.
But so if I'll move out, is that one of the reasons you'd like to go to Los Angeles? A move to a bigger market would help in terms of player recognition?
Yeah, you know, bigger market would help in player recognition, but, you know, I'm not the type of person or player that needs the recognition or my name up in lights. I mean, I just like to be respected around the league and among my peers.
Playing college football at tiny Ferrum College, as we often say, a Division III school in Virginia, didn't help matters, playing only 2 seasons at running back. So when you came out of that school, and as you told me, it gets tinier every year when they talk about your accomplishments, what made you think you could make it in the NFL?
I just had confidence in my skills and, you know, what I could do on the football field. And, you know, just to have great family support. And, you know, they told me never to give up, you know, the hope of playing professional football. And, you know, I didn't, and I worked hard to get where I am. And now it's just a matter of continuing what I've started.
And how have you improved? Have you become a more punishing runner, and was that important for you to accomplish that?
I think, you know, with each year I got more confidence, you know, I got more aggressive last year, I believe. And
how do you get more aggressive as a running back? I mean, people are hitting and tackling you.
Yeah, I believe that comes with, you know, just experience and just playing the game more and knowing, you know, exactly what you're supposed to be doing on the field. And you can be aggressive, and you can, you know, do some things. You can take chances on the field.
Chris Warren is the guy who runs the ball for the Seahawks. When we come back, we'll ask him about the guy who throws the ball for him. Is the guy to lead the Seattle Seahawks back into the playoffs Rick Meyer, or is he John Freeze? We'll address that question when we come back with Chris Warren of the Seahawks. Don't go away.
Protect your engine. Remember, pure oil now, pure oil later.
You work hard to own a $30,000 luxury car. Finally, there's a company that works just as hard to build one. Introducing the extraordinary i30. Through innovative technology and revolutionary design, Infiniti has created a car that offers you the flagship styling, space, and performance you deserve. And as you can see, hard work has its rewards.
How do you keep up with everything that happens in the NHL every day? You keep your eye on us. NHL Tonight, the ultimate half-hour wrap-up of the day that was the NHL. Tuesday through Saturday at 11:30 or after the game, only on ESPN2.
Dennis really didn't want to give himself wholehearted to the team because he had such a problem with management. He wanted a new contract. He didn't think management respected him. So he didn't really give himself, mind, body, and soul 100% to the team, especially this year. So it's good that he's playing with the Bulls, and we've moved forward, and he's moved forward.
Yeah, we hope you'll tune in to Up Close next week on the show. Monday, Bill Murray will be here. From Groundhog Day to the ESPYs to Up Close. That deserves a wow. Also next week, we'll talk NFL with Buffalo Bill defensive lineman Bruce Smith. He'll tell us what Buffalo has done in the offseason. And when we come back, we'll continue with Seattle running back Chris Warren. Is Rick Meyer the answer to lead Seattle back to the playoffs? We'll address that question in a moment.
Were you my mom's best friend in school?
Yes, and now that we're best friends, I brought you a present. Look.
It's a phone number.
Friends and Family is offering everyone in America their own 800 number as our gift to you.
It lets special people in my life call me as often as they want without it costing them a penny.
Call now and get 100 free minutes.
I'm giving it to you because when I pick up the phone and you're there, it's like opening up a present.
Friends and Family. Real savings, real simple.
Protect your engine. Remember, Pure Oil now, Pure Oil later.
Pure Oil later. Introducing the VersaPack cordless rubber and broom with interchangeable batteries from Black & Decker. Because there's nothing more rewarding than a job well done.
Continental Airlines, now among the best in the business at getting you to your destination on time.
We're wrapping things up with Chris Warren of the Seahawks. Seattle 8-8 last season, 7th straight year. They did not make the playoffs. Chris, who gives this team the best chance to make it back to the postseason at quarterback, John Freeze or Rick Meyer?
I would have to say Rick. He's the man that the management chose. He's a first-round draft choice, and he has all the ability to lead us to the playoffs. Strong arm. He's a good leader, and we have confidence in him. He just made some bad decisions last year, and but we're still sticking with him, and he's going to be the man for us.
What have you noticed about his progress most in this last year, or an area that he needs to work on more to help this team get into the postseason?
I've noticed that, he's accepted that he had a bad year, and that, he wants to do better, and he wants us to win. So he's here in the off-season, watching films from all the games last year and trying to correct, small things like, his feet, as far as having his feet set when he throws, and just dumping the ball off to backs in certain situations.
All right, of course, you can always hand the ball off to you with that new 3-year, $10 million contract with the Seattle Seahawks or maybe the Los Angeles Seahawks. Thanks for coming by to say hi. Enjoy the offseason, and we'll see you during the season, all right? Appreciate it. Chris Warren of the Seahawks, whose favorite Bill Murray movie is What About Bob? We'll see you Monday with Bill Murray. Have a good weekend. Take care.
Steve Eiserman and the Red Wings continue their quest for the cup as they face off against the Blackhawks. Live NHL action following SportsCenter